How's it going, man?
Yo, how we doing?
Doing well. Sorry, let me just get this out of the way here. See, Bob knows, but I hate pickles like with a fiery passion. So pickles on pizza, it's a no bueno. I've seen cheeseburger pizzas out there, and it's blasphemy. It's an absolute affront to food to put pickles on pizza. Pineapple on pizza, I'm willing to have a conversation about it.
I've just been eating pizza.
Oh, nice. Yeah. If you ask me about pizza, because I'm opening a pizza restaurant. So.
Oh, wow, that's sick. That's so cool.
Yeah. So like, so that's my background. Is I've worked in the restaurant industry, bartending and cooking for a long time. So
that's awesome, man.
That's my side project. Cool. But it works out well because we basically make signs for a living in Neon Space. So my restaurant needs a sign. We got signs. We actually have one related to pizza. It's all full circle.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, I guess there's a bit of miscommunication on the time zone piece there, so that's no biggie. Plus, like, you know, Lou just gets Lou's health stuff is just kind of comes out of left field. So
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. That's fine.
I saw you were playing League of Legends though. How'd you do?
Yeah, no, I got trampled. I'm not very good at all. But I've just been playing it like because I've been working that much, like burnout becomes a very real thing. So I've just been trying to find like an hour or two a day where I could just chill and play something else other than wax games. So.
Oh yeah, but wouldn't you do something a little more leisurely that isn't so competitive? I feel like Rocket League is like my competitive game, and my blood pressure just shoots through the roof.
Oh yeah, I mean, I got a new keyboard for Christmas, and it's almost destroyed now. There's nothing like when you're playing League, and then like say like your Q just doesn't fire, and then you die, and you just start spamming the Q button like. Yeah, next thing you know, your mechanical buttons are all broken.
Well, I dove into a little bit in your absence here, like over the Era 2 stuff, just talking about the broad strokes of what Era 2 is, the co-op, the survivors dying, introduction of the token, and then just a little bit on the distribution stuff, but we didn't really dive in too hard. So yeah. And then I guess I saw you had posted something about that what's it called? The creator codes, that one, as far as the creator kickback. So
yeah. I mean, Era 2 is coming in hot, and it's coming in hot with a lot of stuff. It's almost like, where do we begin? Like, obviously, probably the most sensible place to begin is the supply run multiplayer mode, right? So, as far as we're concerned, we don't think anyone else has done like a cooperative multiplayer mode on the blockchain yet. Not at least, definitely not on Wax. Not to our knowledge. So that's going to have a queue system, private and public queues. And if the private instance isn't filled up with like 3 friends, let's say that there's only 2 of you, and you want to guarantee that you 2 play together, you can open a private instance, and then after 3 hours, if that private instance you haven't found a 3rd player after 3 hours, then it'll trigger and go into it'll like pull someone from the matchmaking queue. So like we will always have people coming in and out of the game, so it'll always take place.
Interesting. How long does the matchmaking last? Can I like set it and forget it? Like, I'm gonna do a 3-day run, I'm about to leave for the weekend, I'll just matchmake, I run out the door, and when it fills, it fills?
Yeah, exactly. So the first and the main we'll be launching the game mode, because currently we've got the 4 hours, 12 hours, 1 day, 3 day, 7 days for single player. Multiplayer will be a little bit different, and there'll be 1 periodicity to start with, and that'll be 5 days. And then we'll do special events. So the 5 days will remain like the constant. That's like the core game mode that everybody plays. So at worst case scenario, it's 5 days and 3 hours, because technically you could be sat waiting for a game for 3 hours and then it'll trigger. So it's 5 days and 3 hours or 5 days. Like,
Yeah, but I mean, I would imagine that's few and far between.
yeah, I mean, when you're talking about a periodicity of 5 days, what's 3 hours? Like I know it can be like a pain to try and design like when it's going to finish. So what I would say to people is try and aim for like expecting to get it in 5 days and 3 hours, just in case.
And is there like an increase in loot chances or like a change in the loot table when you're doing multiplayer runs? Like my imagine like is like the difficulty is higher, therefore that's why you do the multiplayer run and then you get a
So,
higher
so
reward.
the reason for the reason to do the multiplayer runs and the reason why people are going to want to do them is because that's the game mode that gives you the token. That's the game mode that gives you
Oh,
Zilver.
okay. Okay.
So Zilver is going to be the constant, although still subject to RNG. So the way that ZOS works currently is you either get constant food with a chance of weapons or constant weapons with a chance of different rarities. Well, the way that multiplayer is going to run is essentially there'll be a pot. So all three survivors will do a set of damage each, but then it'll be added together, divided by 3 to give the average, and then that will equate to a Zilver value, of which will be evenly split. So you could potentially have 2 guys that are running mythic weapons and mythic shields, and then 1 guy that runs common, but they'll all get the same Zilver rewards because they're in the team, and that's like the party pool like loot system. And then they will also all get an opportunity to be rewarded with weapons and shields, but on an individual damage created basis.
And skates, then you can publicly matchmake or you can privately matchmake
Yeah.
with friends or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that I did the private and we added the private, it wasn't even for friends. It was because I really like this idea of like creating like this layer of economy where people could leech and people can like sell leeching services. Like someone that's got mythics could say, right, I'll help you leech with my mythic gear, but you have only got common, so that's going to cost you 5 wax, or that's going to cost you 10 wax, and like that level of community interaction, like that was the vision. But now, obviously, it is a lot more friends, which is fine. Like that's absolutely cool. And it was just pipe dream, really, to get to a point where there's layers of economy.
Yeah, I guess you deliberately don't build that into the game, so it encourages people to want to interact outside of it, whether it's through Discord or privately or things like that, set up their own thing. Yeah, I like that. There's the social piece, the lore piece. That's what takes it from just another clicker, right?
Yeah.
And then that can elevate those things. Plus, I guess if you're like a huge sauce whale, you can just do your own supply runs with multiple survivors, right?
Yeah. Well, so the
Or
way
does
that
there have to be unique wallets?
yeah, it's unique wallets.
Okay.
So there is a chance that people could potentially abuse a multi account. We are totally against that, and we can take action on those accounts. We will monitor it. The within the terms and conditions of Atomic Hub's whitelisting process is that if you send your assets to us whilst they're under our custody, like we can keep them if you are breaking our rules, right? So we have that authorized so that we don't come into any problems with Atomic Hub's terms of service. And if we was to find someone abusing it a multi-account, and then we could potentially take action against that person, just to protect our own economy. We don't want someone just running and getting 3 times as much silver as anybody else. But ultimately, it makes no difference, because if you're going to be sending out all of your survivors onto unique public runs anyway, you're still going to get as much silver back on average, based on that.
So. Yeah, and you still have the same time mechanisms, right? With the the 3 hour, 8 hour, yeah, and all those sorts of things, or So I mean, I guess
5 days for multiplayer, yeah.
Yeah, so that would still kind of create a check and balance on how advantageous it is to multi-account.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you still got to wait for the time. But we're also going to be bringing out special events as well, which are basically we've got the mechanic now to say that survivors that are using a X weapon, X shield, or so you could have a choice. So there's like a short list, almost like a whitelisted set of weapons and shields that can be used for that specific instance. So we're going to do some like special events where it's like the one that I always give an example about is like the zombies over at the nuclear power plant. Take your hazmat suit and a weapon and go and fight that event. And then there'll be like different rewards for that, either like a higher Zilver chance or better special rewards, you know, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and then I guess it depends on how many people participate too. So if you put this huge silver reward and like, you know, it ends up only being 10 people, you could get a bigger cut of it or vice versa.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I dig that a lot. Let's see. So here's like the tokenomics distribution. So it's a 10 billion total
100
cap,
billion.
right? 100 billion, 100 billion.
Yeah, and that was so when Zilver first comes out, it is going to be, you know, similar sort of numbers as what you've got in your bank account or your wallet, which you'll be like, you know, like like literally like hundreds, not millions, not thousands, not big crazy numbers. It'll be like hundreds and tens and, you know, and then thousands. So like Zilver runs are going to be like 500 Zilver rewarded, etc. But the reason for such a big supply is purely scalability, right? So you've basically got 70 billion Zilver that's going to be gameplay rewards, and then the rest is going to be split up into those other private segments. Now, because there's going to be such a vast difference between the starting distribution and then the max supply, which is huge, like in theory, you know, a bad actor could allow Zilver to, you know, come out and create, and then we could say, well, we've got 7% of this is our team, which is 7 billion Zilver, right? We would be obviously the biggest whales, and we could just dump that onto the market. So with a little bit of trust on us and obviously like our own accountability, if you was to scroll down this page, we've got a safeguarding disclaimer. If you scroll to the bottom.
Oh yeah.
So we've got this safeguarding disclaimer, which basically says that if there is ever a time where we decide to allocate any of those other segments that is the game, other than the gameplay rewards, which is obviously the 70%, but the other 30%, if we ever find ourselves needing to either access any of those funds, we're going to do something with those funds or anything like that, it will be to a scale of what the circulating supply is and not what the max supply is, which is very important.
See. Yeah, because that's 70 billion.
Yeah.
You know, only like 5% of it may have been distributed.
Yeah.
And so your 7% is far more weighted at that point. Yeah. Okay, that's very smart.
So we wanted a high max supply because we just don't, you know, we could have a huge bull run in the next 2 years. The game could go parabolic, and then we could be at a point where we have to look at Zilver, and all of a sudden people are getting rewarded like 5 decimal places of Zilver per reward. And we really didn't want it to get to a point where it was like an unrealistic number when it's meant to be a currency and like this in-game currency. So we're trying to model it on normal currencies with 2 decimal places.
Yeah, you want the value to click in your head a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, let me go spend 0.005 to buy myself a med kit because, you know, I buy
it just doesn't make sense. So we wanted to keep it at like 100 Zilver or 500 Zilver or 10,000 Zilver for something, which we can all like wrap our heads around. But obviously with 100 billion, that is purely for scalability. And there's no reason why, you know, in a year's time, in 6 months' time, we go, do you know what? We're never, ever going to need 100 billion. Let's just scale back by 10 and then take it down a notch. We can do that, like, because the supply will only be released when it's called upon. So it will remain in the contract until that point.
How are the rewards designed? Is there like a certain range of like, you know, you can earn between 10 and 1,000 Zilver on any given run, and then it's just RNG in between, or are those set, or are those public?
So yeah, so it's literally it's as public as it can be. So it is literally in the algorithm for damage. So the weapon times zombies divided by zombie defense. This algorithm that's in our white paper for single player supply runs, we're using that same algorithm for the multiplayer supply runs and basically taking everybody's damage score, adding it together, dividing it by 3 to give whatever what the average damage score for that team would be, and then that equates whether it be 1 to 1, 1 to 10, 1 to 100, 1 to 0.1, whatever it might be, to Zilver. So if you do 10,000 damage and it's 1 to 1, then you'd get 10,000 Zilver. That's the algorithm essentially.
Interesting.
It's purely
Okay.
damage.
And that ratio is all randomized of the 1 to 1, 10 to 1, what have you.
No. So the ratio will be set, but the variable comes in with there's RNG on how many zombies do you find on your supply run, what their defense is. They're the two variables. So how many zombies and what their defense is. Because if their defense is higher, you'll score less. If you see less zombies, you'll score less. More zombies, lower defense, bigger damage.
Yeah, and then you can do bigger damage if you run all mythics. But
exactly.
if your
Mythics
RNG is less zombies,
damage,
your total cap on damage you can do is maxed out, even if you had, you know, all the greatest equipment.
Yeah, so a common weapon does 5 damage, like 5 base, and then mythics do 55.
Okay. Let's see.
So it's like 11 times better.
Cool. Well, so I see there's like a you know, obviously there's always going to be a bit of trust here, but I guess 2 things. So I see the development, like the 10% allocation has a lockup period.
Yeah, so this essentially the way that we did this was to do 2 things with this 10% if we was to ever need it. This 10% does us 2 things. The first thing is to offer Zilver to the public player base. If we were to ever need to do a sale, you know, to bring some money into the game for development, etc., we could potentially offer some Zilver to the player base as an instant purchase rather than earn it in game.
Mm-hmm.
And that same allocation of Zilver could be offered to private investment through a lockup period to bring money into the game without taking money out of the player base. So there's 2 options there. So we could do a public sale to the players, or we could do a private sale, which would incur a vesting period to private investment, which mean we wouldn't lose any equity in our business, and we also wouldn't be taking any money out of the wax or our player economy.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want to just dry up that liquidity for our own development. And then, so what that basically is saying is, if we ever needed to get some funding and the game's doing really well, you know, someone, an outside source, an external body might want to say, do you know what? Right, okay, your universal currency is Zilver. We will buy some of that Zilver. It needs to be locked up, just like any DeFi model, for, you know, a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever it might be, depending on what they see the life cycle of the game looking like. And they might get some released on, you know, in different increments, quarterly, monthly increments, and then they'll be able to obviously do with that what they will. So that purely was just like what can we allocate in order to protect development and also protect the wax community without having to just keep doing sale after sale after sale. Is essentially
yeah. I mean, obviously it's there to provide liquidity for your business, but it's done so in a way as needed.
Yeah, and it absolutely will be all as needed. And again, with that safeguarding, everything will be taken into account at the point of decision making before we make that choice. For is this in the best interests of the game? And that is the number one question we will ask ourselves every time that Zilver comes into its own, you know, into a question like, do we do this with any of that 30% segment? That will entirely be, does this make sense in terms of the game?
Yeah, that's your North Star all the time.
Yeah, always.
Okay. And then so is the team percentage vested, or
so we're not touching that. We've basically just put that 7% there as a protection for ourselves.
I see. So it's sequestered, and that follows the same as needed basis.
Yeah.
But it's just broken down in the 7% separately.
Yeah.
Okay. And then for the liquidity, where is the liquidity going to live? Are you going to create like a backbone on Alcor Exchange or DeFi Box?
Yeah, so we're going to focus on Alcor. As for liquidity strategy, we're gonna get Era 2 out, and we're going to see what happens, and then we're going to go from there, because we don't want to just, if we was to just throw 50,000 wax against a load of Zilver in the marketplace, people will arbitrage it and just and the 50k wax out, and then that's the last thing you need, because we're down 50k and it's been abused by people that don't even play the game.
Yeah.
So we need to be careful with how we provide liquidity and to what standards and how much.
Yeah, the how you started is the hardest part. That's where people really get wrecked, and then you have all kinds of slippage, and then people try to exit, and then it creates a whole bunch of volume that just makes it a whole sloppy mess.
So I
Um,
actually think for at least the first day, we aren't going to put any liquidity in. We're just gonna see what happens with the buy and sell orders, and see where people are putting things, and then we'll just watch it from there from the first day.
oh, so you're just going to create an order book before the order book can get filled?
Yeah, for now.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. And then do you have plans, like we like DeFi a lot, so like is there future plans for like any sort of like yield, like any sort of liquidity rewards kind of thing?
Yeah. So again, we are currently focused on. So it's been mental trying to get Era 2 out. Um, and we are there now. Like we're a matter of days away, and so we've done that, and we've got to that point, and then we've built this supply of Zilver, the allocations over the matter of weeks, and now it's a case of let's get this into the players' hands, and then we'll go from there. Always taking into account again what's best for the game. So, and I know that's a bit of a political answer, but what I'm trying to say there is like, as far as like liquidity providers, and all of the great DeFi mechanics that we can use, we aren't currently looking at them because it'll take time away from the game for us to develop.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. So eventually when you have the bandwidth to do it,
Yeah.
you know, and then that'll be like a nice to have later thing to
And
check.
again, that's why. Again, we don't want to take any. We don't want ZOS to become a vehicle for people to just take advantage of and pull liquidity out of ZOS and then just bang it in somewhere else. Like we need to protect our players as well. So I don't want to be able to make people. I don't want to make people a vehicle that they can then take advantage of and just just empty it. So we do need to be really careful with it. And the main thing about ZOS is that this is an in-game currency. That is the main reason for this game. This Zilver is an in-game currency that should be powering the game.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, and particularly when you open up the liquidity pool rewards and stuff, you got to do it all the way through, because if you introduce this mechanism and then it ends up getting all screwy and then you pull it back, now you're adding utility and pulling it away. And when people make
Exactly.
moves
Yeah.
on these things, some people make hard moves on it. So I think that is a constant issue in the wax space, where people, oh, hey, here's this new cool thing, let's throw it out there. Oh yeah, we give rewards or we give NFT drops or whatever. And then it ends up being too expensive or just hard to maintain. And they're like, oh, whoops, sorry, we're not doing it anymore. It's like, well, you just rug pulled this utility on me. You told me this was a thing, and you basically just like rugged me on this one thing. And now you're telling me it's my fault for throwing money at it, even though you just hyped it forever.
Yeah,
So
so that's pretty much where what we're doing with Zilver is almost like promising nothing in terms of DeFi and taking anything outside of the game. We're promising nothing to anybody right this moment. Like there is no plans, and that's the structured response we're going to give. There is no plans. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't any plans. What I'm saying, what I'm saying is, the official stance is there is no plans to do anything with it. We're not providing rewards for liquidity providers, nothing. Because if I promise that and then we do have to pull it away, like you say, bad taste in people's mouths. So
yeah, absolutely. Under promise, over deliver is a good
exactly.
imitation of this. Let's see. So, where are the initial buy orders being filled from? Are they filled from the treasury? Is the initial price already set for this in regards to Zilver?
So the answer is no and no. Like I say, for the first 24 hours, unless someone can tell me exactly why this is a bad idea, I say 24 hours, so it'll be 24 hours after the first 5 days, right? Because no one's going to get a reward until 5 days after doing the supply run and pulling the claim. So for that first 24-hour period, whilst we watch the markets and watch how people deal with it, we're basically just going to treat it like the NFT market, where if someone's got some Zilver and they want to sell it, they can sell it for this price and they can set their price. If someone wants to buy some Zilver, they can buy it and put a buy order in and set their own price. Is there any, I personally don't see a problem with that structure.
Okay, so you'll have people with Zilver, but there will be no liquidity, so they'll put in orders. So I guess you're letting the market set the price by having this 5-day period of people playing around with their initial rewards of Zilver.
Well, the way that I see it is, who are we to set the price of Zilver? Because I'm not the player base, right? So the way that we set the price of Zilver is we're in a roundabout way is with our in-game store. So the prices of the items that you can buy with Zilver people will then allocate them like a wax value in their own head, and then we'll want to buy Zilver at that price in order to get it off people that have earned it, right? So that's the logic with this.
Yeah, this is a little bit out of my. I have opinions, but this is more of a Max realm to say with certainty on approaches here. But in my mind, at least for what it's worth, is you let the players do the price discovery. Makes sense, and particularly from a player's perspective, if you were to set an initial price of like $1 per one Zilver, and then the gameplay changes and the players end up valuing it at 50 cents per Zilver, then everyone's going to remember that initial price. And now you're setting the expectation in everyone's head that, well, the mint price, the initial liquidity price was $1. So now this token's bullshit because it's 50% of its original value.
Exactly.
Whereas,
and that's why I think that it's like, if we let the player base decide that, then we can't be blamed for saying this is $1 and then it crashes, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, actually, we should have known that it was worth 25 cents. It was worth 50 cents because that's now what it's stable at, right? So,
yeah, that is a good point that Baggy Holler makes, is that the value of the token, I guess you as a player, you could find that the floor price of the value of the token is what someone would buy from the marketplace and sell as an NFT.
Ish.
But
that would be if the NFT store was the only if the in-game store was the only way to use your Zilver, but Zilver itself powers the next game mode. So so like, for example, the next game mode battles will be, if you want to go and do a battle against a boss zombie, you will need to pay Zilver as an entrance fee to then go and fight that zombie. And then from that, you'll then get different rewards, which will go towards the building mechanic, which is coming out next. So it's a constant level. It's a constant game of like preparation, like accumulation, fighting, rinse and repeat sort of thing.
It's a tough line to walk too, because in the nature of when you guys are scaffolding this game in phases of like, okay, we've built this foundation, we're going to add another layer. Now we do that, we'll add another layer. And so as the game evolves, the use of the Zilver token evolves, as it should, and as it gives you possibilities to make your game more interesting. But speculators are always going to speculate. So the more you can take any sort of undue influence on that, for better or for worse, and let the discovery price move where it goes, then the speculation, the speculators are just a part of an evolving market. Now, it's not to say that you could get wrecked on it, but setting initial expectations is always a dangerous game to play. And then you also have the issue where once you introduce the token, for better or for worse, everyone's going to mince every little word you say about every announcement you make. Okay, well, I think he clued in that this could be a use case for Zilver, and now all of a sudden I'm going to buy up a bunch, and then it didn't play out the way I thought it did. So having your own token is pretty cool, but it comes with it a lot of obstacles, I guess. But that's where the transparency is key.
Era 2 is going to launch with 9 things that you can buy from the store. On day 1, there'll be 9 items you can buy from the store.
Oh, how nice. You introduce a token and you can use it right away. How insane.
Yeah, exactly, right? Almost like we've designed this properly. So, the store will come live. There'll be 9 items in there, and then we'll be racing ahead to get the next game mode out, which will be obviously be the biggest sink for Zilver. Like it'll be insanely big for Zilver. And the assets that you're going to need that you'll be able to buy in the store are going to be consumables, and those consumables will be usable right away, at least mostly. Obviously, one of them being the med kit that will revive your survivors if it dies.
So, can you say what the marketplace items will be? I mean, I imagine a med kit is one.
Yeah, so the med kit's one. Don't know what I'm allowed to tell you. The med kit's one. I will say this. So we trialed a upgrade system on Nefty with our common and uncommon rare weapons, and basically did 10 to 1, 10 to 1, 10 to 1, or uncommon, common into uncommon, uncommon into rare, rare into epic. That'll be coming back, and it will be more expensive to upgrade your weapons.
So would it be like you have 10 duplicates of a given weapon plus Zilver or something?
So
Or?
So it's going to essentially be 10 weapons. So you obviously got weapons and shields. So you've got 10 weapons, or 20, or 30, or 40, whatever we decide it's going to be, because it's not necessarily 10. Of the same rarity weapon. It can be any weapon, but as long
Okay,
as it's
that's nice.
common.
That's nice. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So you can get let's say 20. Right? You can get 20 weapons, and then in the store there will be a common to uncommon upgrade that you need to purchase, and then that will be part of the blend as well. And then you'll be able to blend 20, 30, whatever it is, 20 weapons into one uncommon, and then that ladders up all the way to mythic, which we only went up to epic last time when we trialed it. We've gone away, we've done some modeling, we've worked out what that looks like in terms of if we was allow people to go up to mythic, and at least for the start, I don't think anybody will be upgrading to mythic.
But it's the same amount, so it will be it's not 10, but just for example, the 10. So it'll be consistent at each rarity level, but it'll just be harder to attain those high rates.
Except for legendary to mythic, that will be less than the rest.
Okay, and is there a Zilver cost in addition to that, or just the blend?
Yeah, so the blend will be X amount of weapons and upgrade token purchasable for Zilver.
Oh,
we wanted to do it where it was like X amount of weapons plus a Zilver fee equals the blend, but with the way that Nefty does things, I don't think you can do currency into a blend right now. I think
that's a plan for Nefty, but I'm not sure if they pulled it off yet.
I don't think it's live yet. So the way that we're getting around that almost is by having within the in-game store each of these tier upgrades.
Okay, yeah, that's the best of the situation here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, you have my curiosity, I'll tell you that. So let's see. So there's the death, there's the supply runs, there's Zilver token, the Brutus Bazaar, that must be the marketplace.
That's the store, yeah.
And then the gear upgrade. So that's all the heavy hitter. Well, I guess it's not that's all. That's a lot of stuff. But those are all the things. Okay.
Some of the updates that we see on Wax Games that take a year, and then
I know, right?
We're banging this out in I think 9 weeks.
I saw you were looking at some UI upgrades too, as well.
Yeah. Full website redesign as well. On top of all this.
Is that something we can see or no?
Give me 10 seconds.
I'm a salesman. I gotta ask for the business here, you know.
Yeah. Let me see what I've got. Again, it depends how polished it is, because currently, right, while we're testing, we've still got some artwork being finalized over the weekend. So some of it looks a bit janky because it's just text. So it's like text of where icon X will be, you know. Let's see what we've got here.
Yeah, there's like that share in the bottom there if you want to share your screen.
Yeah. Again, this isn't a finished product, and I'm not gonna go. I'm only going to show you the login screen actually. Oh god. One sec. Share screen. And The survivor that you see isn't staying like that one. It'll be a different survivor, but this is the login screen. I'm showing you the.
Oh, okay, you're off screen.
Oh, one sec. I think I've given up the ghost for it now. Anyway,
It was only a second.
Go on. Put the screen back on.
You ready?
Yeah. So this is going to be the login screen, with this border here, this big empty space being like a news and updates, sort of alerts, any change logs, things like that. And this is sort of the feel that we're going for. So I'm not going to show any more than this, but
okay, yeah. And then let's see. So is there a fixed day next week, or is it a just in general sometime next week to give you some wiggle room for some curveballs here as far as releasing Era 2?
Just 1 second. Two seconds.
Oops.
So we're going to get the final answer based because we're currently waiting on the artwork, and that's literally the final piece for the last couple of bits coming from the art department, and we're going to get that answer on Sunday. So Sunday this week, we will give a definitive which day they'll be coming out.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good in the grand scheme of answers.
I have no doubt people are chasing that link down right now.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's clipped it yet, but I can run back in after. Actually, I think I can go get the video and just
It's fine. It's fine. I think it's not a problem. I mean, if people want to go to them lengths to see what we're currently working on, it's absolutely fine. But like I say, it's by far not a finished product. And also, if you do log in, you have to log in with your Wax wallet, and we'll know who it is, and we'll ban you.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
I'm kidding.
And that's where it comes in.
Yeah,
lazy.
That's the one. As soon as you send assets to the new supply contract, it'll be deleted. No.
Yeah. With great power comes great responsibility. You know?
Yeah, if people wanted to go in and have a look, they can, but it's not ready. Like this. In fact, this is actually this is an older version. I've just gone in and logged in, and yeah, it's not done some of the feedback upgrades we've gone with.
Well, yeah, anyway. Gaz took my next question right out of my mouth. I was going to ask. So, from the horse's mouth, how did your rug pull raffle go? I mean, from afar, it looked like it was a great idea and really great engagement.
Yeah, that was fantastic. So, what we actually found was, like, a lot of our community. So we've got like a real loyal core community of like 20 or 30 people that are just constantly in ZOS. That's fantastic. That you know, you need that core community that stick by you every single day, that just allow people to like almost like orbit around that community. And those guys were, after we announced it, those guys were in our chat, and then we had all these sea farmers people join in the Discord, and then we're going, oh, we've been stung by this, blah blah blah. And like that core community was like, yeah, do you need any assets for ZOS? Like, I'll send you some on top of the rug raffle. Like, real helping out. And then someone was short by one legendary sea farmers, so someone sent them a third so that they could do their ticket, etc. Like, it was just so heartwarming to see a bad situation turn into something that people actually, you know, gained from. And it was never an intention for it to be so big. It was just a case of, well, let's see what we can do for the space. And
yeah, here's what I can contribute in the best way I can.
In a very small way compared to what people have lost. How can we benefit the guys? And I think at the end there was like over 100 legendaries had been burned into tokens, into
Wow,
rug
yeah.
raffle tickets, which is massive because they were like $2,000 each, and
Ooh,
there was like
woof.
over 100 of them burned.
Well, yeah, and think of these dead assets that are taking up RAM,
Yeah,
and honestly, like think of it this way, like a lot of those sea farmers folks, the ones particularly that spent 2 grand on legendary assets that are now basically trash. That I mean, that could have been one person that's like, fuck NFTs, fuck wax, I'm never
yeah,
coming back. This is the worst shit on the planet. And in that one moment, right when you're on the fence teetering of like, you know what, I'm out forever. This turns around into something that's salvageable. And then, these are people that now aren't leaving the network, that they're not leaving
yeah,
NFTs as a whole. They're not leaving crypto as a whole. And I think that's really powerful to change the perception and change you know, how people were feel about that situation. Like, not only is it that I got something for what is now nothing, but now I'm connecting with other people. I'm seeing the other side. If I'm seeing the negative side of NFTs, of this rug pull, Discord disappear, people getting banned for calling you out, and now I see the opposite in the spectrum. I come into this Discord and I'm just talking, and people are giving me free assets just out of the kindness of their heart. You're getting you're getting the good side of it, and now
yeah.
you can see what
It
it
was
could be when it's done well,
it was
and now
insane.
you have a better outlook.
It was absolutely insane. And the one worry that I did have was that our community would go and buy all of the assets off the market to have as many raffle tickets as possible. And every single like opportunity for someone to say, um, like when the conversation came up in the chat, it was always, no, we're not buying any, we're not touching them. I wish I was involved in this raffle, but I'm not going and buying any assets off of the market. And like it was just so humbling, like to although it was such a small gesture in terms of the size of the rug pull, it was so nice. And I think we ended up seeing something like 140 people join our server. And even if we could just give 10% of those people, that 10% give Wax a second chance because of this. Like, and then that word of mouth spreads, and it's just we thought about how we could do it, and of course we're going to be doing more. We don't want to, like, the last thing that we want to do is have to try and protect people from after being rugged, right? We would rather there just be no rugs. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
like this is the best of a bad situation, and of which we'd rather the bad situation not happen. Um, we've got to be very selective with it. It was expensive for us to do in terms of like sell pressure on our market. I mean, we did over $1,500 in rewards. So I don't know if we're going to do as if we was to do another one, it'd need to again be like a quite a blockbuster rug. It needs to be like we can't just have like a very small project get rugged and then we throw $1,500 of assets at 6 people.
Yeah, and the tough part, there's no centralized authority that is like there to do these things. It has to come organically from different
Yeah,
pieces of the community, and like I don't know, like it would be a dangerous game that all of a sudden now every time there's a rug, it's like, what the fuck? Why isn't Zaz doing another raffle? And all of a sudden that's
yeah,
like now that's not a kind gesture, that is an expectation. But
yeah,
it seems like your mentality is similar to a lot of other people. I know Nefty Blocks had talked about this when we had talked to them a few months ago about having some sort of mechanism where you could burn your dead NFTs from rug pulls, or just whatever
mm,
it is, the things that just like kind of lost all their value, throw them in and get something back
yeah,
from a partner project that is active. Like, say you had a project that was active 6 months ago and now they're just not. Like, let me get something that's relevant now. And so hopefully you can see that, your move creates a ripple effect that other people are like, that's a killer idea. Clearly people like it. It's still advantageous for you in a sense that you're getting new players. So, you know,
It was,
obviously there
it
might
was,
be some cost benefit there, but
yeah. I mean, I don't think that we've seen the $1,500 back in terms of market value. Um, but it was never about that. Like, see, someone's just asking here: was the rug pull event something we was milling around in our heads for a while, or was it spare of the moment? It was entirely a spare of the moment idea. Me and Letos were speaking one night, and then one of our friends in our group chat Discord sent us "Oh my god, have you seen sea farmers as rugged?" And we was all just like in disbelief. And then we was talking about it for like an hour, just talking about the rug itself for like an hour. Um, and then I just said, we need to do something. Like, we can't allow a rug of this magnitude to go without any kind of like repercussions. With like, we can't punish them, so why don't we just try and help their victims? Like that was the logic. And it was really nice actually, because a couple of projects, decent sized projects, said to us, like, if you do this again, we want to donate some rewards as well. Like, for another, if you was to do another raffle, if there was another rug, um, don't take the burden on by yourself. By all means, we'll donate some rewards to it as well. So it was really nice.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's my thought too. It's like the gesture in and of itself hopefully sends a ripple effect. Like, this is
Hmm.
how it can be done. This is how a good community should engage, and hopefully other people jump onto that as well in whatever shape, way, or form they can, and the capacity they can, while hopefully the vetting process and the
Yeah,
verification
improves
process
too.
and the keeping the bad actors gets better over time, hopefully.
Yeah. And then though, the other thing that we're doing, which is kind of a similar concept, is the creator codes, the content creator codes that we're implementing into the in-game store, where content creators that have got a code and people use it to support the content creator get 3% of the Zilver back. Now, what we're doing as well is we've got our 6 or 7 partnered communities that are getting community HQs, the real big gaming communities on Wax. So Sammy Snake Mining, NFG, NFT Gamer TV, these people, and they'll all get their own code as well. Now, some of those communities have already pledged that if their community uses their code in the in-game store, that whatever they get in terms of Zilver, that 3% cashback of Zilver will be redistributed amongst their community and rewards as well. So, like, we're just trying to figure out a way that everybody seems to get, like, rewarded somewhere, or just giving back to people. And some of our partner communities have already pledged that out of their code, whatever they get will be redistributed, and they won't just go and sell it on Alcor for a profit just for being a community leader. So that's good too.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a great idea. Like, you're rewarding community engagement too. You're trying to reward the right things instead of trying to punish everyone. Just reward the good behavior. It's positive reinforcement.
Well, the where the content creator code came from was, I was sat thinking about all of these spam messages we get about, do you want promotion on YouTube? Well, do a YouTube video, blah blah blah. Like, I've got 70,000 subs, like, and all, like, we all get them, right? We all get the DMs like, who can I speak to about marketing, blah 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 blah. All this spam, and like, people just, like, all of these people are using Wax as like a platform to try and make these videos, and it look like you've got really good engagement, but actually it's pants. So this was like my solution to this, and it was like, put your money where your mouth is. If you think you've got good engagement, if you think that your audience believes what you're saying, if you think that you can navigate your audience to our game like you're trying to sell to me, then I'll give you a creator code. You make a video, navigate your audience to ZOS, get them playing ZOS, they'll spend in the store, they'll give the code to you, and you'll get 3% back. And eventually, well, not even eventually, after a few days, you'll be earning more than I was ever going to pay you in terms of promotion, right? Like, if you've got good pull and you've got good people coming into the game, then you will be, like, the upside is huge for a good creator to bring people to ZOS, because they're getting 3% back every time someone uses their creator code. So that's my way of combating those people. So from now on, if anyone says that they're gonna, do you want promotion? Do you want contacting for collaboration, for promotion? Blah blah blah. I'm just gonna give them a creator code and say, there you go and create some stuff.
But yeah, they
And
have to try.
yeah,
Like, you have
exactly.
to put
Like,
in some fucking effort.
yeah. So, but what that also does is it allows us to go to content creators on TikTok that aren't necessarily on Wax yet, or different YouTubers that are doing stuff on Solana or ADA, or like all of these different blockchains that have already got games but don't necessarily give Wax a second chance. We could go to them and say, right, set up a Wax wallet, go and do a YouTube video on ZOS or whatever, and use this code, and then anyone that plays the game from that, you'll get obviously benefit from. And I think that if more projects on Wax start taking this incentive and putting these creator codes in, because it doesn't, like a referral scheme like we saw 6 months ago come into Wax. These invites and referral schemes where if you referred someone to play the game, you would get 5% of whatever they earn in game. Like that doesn't work, because what that essentially does is it advocates multi-accounting and people spamming accounts, because all of that 5% will go back to, because it was extra, wasn't it? So like 5% would go back to the main account all the time, and like they just run a massive bot farm whilst also earning 5% on top. But the way that you do it with a creator code in the in-game store is it doesn't benefit to multi account, because that Zilver's got to be in game anyway, and there's no limits on how many supply runs you can send. So you could send all of your survivors in one account or all of your survivors across multiple accounts, and you won't gain anything. But if you had a creator code, you'd gain 3%, right? You would just you'd get everything in the store for 97%. So you'd only get 3% off. If someone's going to go out of their way to create multiple accounts, and that like one account and then have a creator code and spend in the store for 3%, then they've got a very bad outlook on life. Like it's just it's not cost effective to do that.
Yeah, and if you're a content creator, I mean, if you're gonna use this code to your advantage, if you're trying to monetize it for yourself, you have to understand the game enough to explain it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And
like
the whole deal of like giving packs to influencers, or content creators, the bad actors will dump your packs. I'm looking at you, Bad Crypto, NFT, with the Nifty Show or whatever, Joel and Travis, they just dump your fucking packs, or they just sit on them forever so they can dump them later. So like, that whole thing of trying to give packs just hurts the community rather than helps it. And so this is at least a way that you can encourage those things, market, but not create just an easy dump for people who don't give a shit about the network.
Well, this is it. Like we're basically giving the content creators, like they are now the masters of their own destiny. Like if they go and shill the shit out of ZOS, and and get 500 people come and play ZOS and use their creator code, they're going to make a lot of money, because the Zilver's going to be high value anyway, because there's now 500 new players playing. Like, so that's going to be high value. And also, if they're all using that creator code, they're getting 3% of 500 people spending in the store. They can then go and take some of that and cash it out into Wax, or they can use it for their own game. Like they can use it in, that's passive in the game without them even playing it.
That leads into the guilds factor too, when you add in the whole like building stuff and the community engagement that goes with that. So now, if you have a building deed and now you have this whole kind of guild around that, and you're a creator and you have the creator code, encourage, like that's a pretty smart way to use that creator code to your advantage while also playing and engaging in the game too.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to be the number one community driven game without being the number one community driven game, if that makes sense. Like we want to be a game that stands on its own 2 feet and delivers entertainment without feeling like it's just community led DeFi. Like it needs to be a game. It needs to have entertainment. And we think we've got the model right. We think that all the way up until Era 6 is going to be a fun phase of ZOS. And then after Era 6, the new phase of ZOS will be just as fun, if not better, and will be, the next step ahead. But we need to have another bull run between now and Era 6.
I've been saying it, like we'll see the cream rise to the top here of the people who can make it through the bear market and the people who are just trying to cash in on easy money, because like, I mean, we've said it multiple times, the amount of people, and I think we talked to you off air last time, of just some of the people in this space do not know how to run a business at all. And so you'll see those people when they're not flush with cash anymore, or the crazy amounts of wax they're sitting on that's now worth a lot less. How much work are they really going to put in? and how much effort are they really going to put when the trade volume's a lot down a lot because people don't have the disposable income to throw at it? And how much are you really going to try and build and innovate when you're not just throwing out your latest cash grab and it sells out in 5 minutes? And hopefully that is a positive thing, that some of those bad actors in the space will fall to the wayside. Now, it's not to say that it's not making a bunch of legitimate creators and legitimate artists go back to their day job.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's the
and
thing.
so that is difficult too. So a lot of people that were putting in really great work now, won't have the disposable time for it. But I do think that we'll see a lot of thinning of the herd, and the ones who are first to fall are going to be the ones who weren't really trying that hard in the first place and don't deserve to stick around.
So we made a decision very early on, being in crypto for a little while and seeing a bear market, a bull run, and then coming back into a bear market. We made a decision very early on that we will not take any money out of ZOS, right? No matter what primary sales we do, at least for the short term, right? Like during one cycle, take no money out of ZOS. So we made this decision very early not to take any money out of them, the pre-sale and the main sale for ourselves, and to just reinvest it all into development. And had we have taken any money out, we would be in serious trouble now, because we're now looking at crypto winter. The bloody summer, whatever people are calling it these days. And if we'd have taken like any proportion of that money out for ourselves, like we would not see through this bear market. Now, I believe we've got enough funds to pay the salaries of the people working on ZOS. So I don't take a wage, Letos doesn't take a wage, but all of our employees do, of course, like our guys. And then we've got like subcontractors, freelance guys, etc. Like all of those people obviously expect to get paid. Now we expect to be able to pay those people until the good times come again. So
Yeah.
had we have just pulled like 30 grand each or whatever out, we'd be in a world of trouble right now. But for the love of the game and for what we understand the business to be, the potential of the business, like, if you've got a cup of water and you can drink that water yourself, or you can throw it onto your plants and your plants will grow, you're going to give it to your plants because you can go to the tap and get your own water, right? So, like, we've got other incomes. We can survive. We don't need to pull money out of ZOS. So we've just reinvested everything, and hopefully everything will be fine. Now, I do think the first to fall will be people that have been pulling money out for themselves.
Yeah, because what they would, some of those practices is they'll take their cash out, which, like, you run your business however you run your business. But when you're taking all the cash out every time, thinking that this is a gravy train, it'll just keep rolling. And what they do is they take the money out. Oh, we need more money for development. We'll have another sale. And then that sells out. And then we have more cash. And then we take most of that cash out and do our little bit for development. Oh, we need to do this other thing, do another sale. And now that the volume's not there to just throw whatever sales out, it dries up, and then they have nothing left in reserve to do it. And now they're stuck either developing for free, not being able to hire anyone, or not paying themselves. And, I have a feeling a lot of people are like, not worth it anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, a few people have said it. I think Burst said it. I think Sammy said it, that Wax almost needs to die before it can grow to its next potential and get rid of all of these people that are coming in for what looks like an easy payday. I can assure you it is not an easy payday. Now, there are certain things 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago that we can look back on and go, do you know what? If you'd have just followed the meta, the Farmers World meta back then, you'd have been able to make $750,000. But realistically, if you're following and copying the meta of someone else's ideas, it's not original. You have no passion for it. You're clearly a bad actor. Like, you're not doing anything off of your own free will. Everything that we've designed for ZOS would be because we enjoy it, and like that mechanic we feel is more of a game than not a game, if that makes sense. For something that's not an active live action game, you know, we didn't try and copy anybody. We wanted
Yeah,
to
stick
design it
to your
originally.
concept. Stay
Yeah,
true to what
exactly.
your vision is and not try to let the payday influence your decision. Like, you have your goal in mind. I'm going to get there. Now, it may take longer or it may have more bumps in the road, but if this is my vision, I'm going to follow it. I'm going to stay true to it. And that's a hard
Oh,
thing to
don't get me
do.
wrong. There's been some really tough nights where things just aren't working, and we've said, why didn't we just follow the Farmers World model? Like, this would have been so much easier if we'd have just made Farmers World. Like, but ultimately, the peaks and the troughs of running a business and going through the tough times and then coming out the other side is what makes it so rewarding when you do have the good times.
Yeah, that's funny, that verse. It's gotta crumble down so the phoenix can rise from
Yeah,
the
literally,
ashes.
like, and like Leto says it as well all the time in like dev meetings that we have. Is like, guys, we're in here for the long haul because we're wax is being burnt down. We're then gonna like we're all gonna sort of like trundle our way through the ashes, and then like there'll be like 10% of what wax currently has now in terms of projects will come out the other side, and they'll be stronger than ever.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I think ZOS is going to be one of those. I'd like to think that Nova Rally, when it delivers the new updates, is going to be one of those. Beast Garden, potentially Olive Land when they deliver their
Yeah, I
things.
think,
Fireland. There's a
Stratton
lot of them.
Studios and,
Yeah,
Costume Clash, I mean,
what
they're
Josh is
doing a
doing
lot of
over there,
great things.
fantastic, and he's doing the SDK as well. So we're going to get a lot more Unity-based games for Wax.
Yeah.
There's loads of like play to earn projects. And I don't even like play to earn, the concept of it. I hate play to earn. I prefer crypto powered or something like that, like player owned assets where real world trading's allowed. So it's like the normal MMORPG concept, but actually we don't care if you sell them for like outside the game.
Well, so here's a question. Is it part of the long-term plan to make it a playable, like, controller playable game, or, like, PC playable,
So
or it all be kind of, web-based in the way it is?
no, so we want to get to a point where it's client based. But like I say, to take that step. So what we currently got here is proof of concept, proof of brand, proof of like storytelling. This is the like the alpha, right? We're developing in alpha, and we're seeing what we can do with crypto. Like the crypto powering of the game is like, this is all what we're trying to do right now. And then post era 6 is hopefully where we can have a little bit more fun with things. Like, we won't be constrained by too many, like we've already got some designs on what we want to do, and it'd be more of a true game. But and to be fair, we're going to try and do that before Era 6 with the live action map. It will still be website designed, and it will still be all browser based. But we're just step change. So the first very first alpha iteration of ZOS, when we did that pre main sale alpha, was very clicky, very menus. Then we released what we've currently got, which is a little bit better. There's a lot of quality of life improvements. Then we're about to release this new design, which is a lot more gamified. Then we'll be releasing the live action map, and then after that
Yeah, and you're
is
kind of implementing strategy and kind of planning that it's less of just like, you're that guy in Lost hitting the code in the hatch, and then you just, shout out Click Farm Neon Space artwork there. But but there's like a point, and there's a journey, there's a story, there's a reason why you're doing things. And so even though like there is like earning mechanics, it's less of just, I click this because I have to, because money's on the other side, which is
yeah,
where the vast majority really kind of sit right now, with some jazzed up stuff along the way.
yeah. So the gamer inside of me says, I don't want to target the investors. I want to target the
Yeah.
gamers, and if the get, we just want to give free will to the players. Like, it's literally just free will. That's all we want to do with the power of crypto, is just say, right, you don't want to play ZOS anymore. Right, okay, then sell your assets and move on. Or you're gonna have a hiatus and you need a few $100s to go on holiday, then sell your assets, come back and grind your way back up to getting them again. Like, we don't want people to feel like ZOS is entirely an investment vehicle. I keep saying this. I don't want it to be an investment vehicle. I don't want people
Yeah,
to come in and just take advantage of, as soon as that becomes the case, and there are almost bad actors, people that don't care about the game, don't care about the entertainment factor, and are constantly just trying to make money. All you're doing there is sucking liquidity out of gamers to investors and then moving it off chain.
that's a good point, though. Yeah, who's your target audience? Blockchain brawlers, for better or for worse, has attracted a lot of investors,
Yeah.
and then the Wax Studios is starting to, like, we thought people were going to play the game in this way, and now they're not. Now they're trying to
Yeah.
readjust because it's like, okay, we thought people were going to play it like a game like this, but now the investors are maximizing Scotty farms, and that's not what I thought. So now we got to change the mechanics. And then even the reaction to the nerf of the Scotty farms then created a whole different meta that they didn't expect either. So they're kind of constantly trying to pivot, and, like, it just comes with the territory. You can never control what people are going to play, but there is a point where there are parts of blockchain brawlers that attract more investors than gamers. Well, without putting you on the spot, I will say that we would be interested in a creator code, but you don't have to, you can answer that off air.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, you guys can. Would you want one as a group?
Hold on one sec. Sorry, yeah, thanks for running the show there.
It's all right. I just threw up peace signs. I was just chilling.
Yeah, I'm currently getting raided, literally.
Yeah, I've just shared my screen.
Oh yeah.
For all of you people, this was the code. This was the website. It's now down. We've taken it down.
Oh, the one that you accidentally docked?
Yeah. So enjoy. It's there now. You can have it. You can't access anything.
That's hilarious.
But no, yeah, we'll get you a creator code if you want one as a group, or if you want individual ones. It's up to you guys. We can sort that.
Oh yeah, we'll just do it for Neon Space, but yeah, that'd be fun. Here, I gotta start running off here, but
Yeah, that's fine.
I do have some ZOS stuff that I got from my own farming that I can give away.
Well, what I was going to do, because obviously with the shambles of setting things up today, I haven't got around to sending anything across. But what I'll do is I'll send some stuff in the week, and then on one of your future streams, by all means, just throw them to people, whoever's in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anything we put in that Give.Neon wallet is for the community. So, I'll check with the guys, but I mean, in line with what we typically do, I would imagine any kickbacks we would also just take the Zilver, put it in the giveaway wallet, and just build it into what we already do.
Oh, that's awesome.
And a lot of times we buy our, like, we don't, if we have creators on and they want to give us stuff, that's great. Otherwise we just go on the market and buy some. So we kind of fund that stuff ourselves. So honestly, it is advantageous. Like, if we have a kickback of, we're streaming 5 days a week anyway, we'll show some ZOS, we get a kickback that funds some giveaways that we're not gonna pay out of pocket like we've been doing.
Yeah, exactly.
I consider that a win as the guy who runs the business side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's just sensible, isn't it? Like, it's just the right thing to do. It just makes sense. It saves you guys any costs. So it's good.
And shit, we do that stuff anyway, so might as well get some value out of it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah,
well, we got Gaz in here, so I'll do some critter craft. So let's see. So this is all stuff. I guess someone sent us a bunch of potheads. I don't know. But we got a bunch of those now. But I have some common and uncommon weapons and our shields that I'll give away. Let's see. I have 6 of them, or I have 5 of them. Shit, that's a bad number. I'll just give away I think there's 3 uncommon ones here. All right, so I have 3 uncommons. So I'll give away this motorcycle leather, and then I'll do 2 more and give those away. And then if you're new to ZOS, then you would have to buy a survivor, and you would have to get a shield and or weapon depending on which one you got.
Yeah.
So exclamation point play. I'll leave that open for a second.
Hide the evidence.
Oh no. Well, shoot, I'm in need of a lawyer, so maybe I'll hit up Jeff if he's still in the chat. We got a lawyer in our community. I gotta crowdsource my needs here. Let's see. What PO? Oh, like the Funko Pops.
That's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set, and
the full set of the physicals, huh?
And the Burger Boys, the big boy burger stuff. And then I got obviously a Grubfish. Oops. Ooh, shout out Crittercraft, shout out Gaz.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did you buy the trail pack sale the other day?
Yes.
Nice.
I haven't crafted anything up though. I just opened my packs. I got a common and an uncommon, I think. I've really not been doing much on wax recently. It's mostly been focused on getting Era 2 out. So
yeah, that's a good point. It does seem like, you know, anyone, I'm looking at you, Ashiki, and Wax Arena. Anyone who's saying that, you know, like wax is dead here, like I was talking about at the beginning here, like Taco Racers sold out really well. The Crittercraft sale went really well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still success out here, and there's still people buying. So anyone who's trying to shit on that, it's like, well, maybe your sale just sucks, or maybe you're charging too much, you know?
Well, that's it. Like, maybe people are fed up of the same games, just in different artwork and like very slight changes. And maybe people are fed up of having to pay $500 for a pack and things like that. Like, I think there's like Crittercraft were like really good examples of this. Their drop that they just did was like extremely cheap. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's as bad as people think, but then you look at the daily volume and you think, oh, I wouldn't want to be doing a sale right now.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I will start this thing. I'll do the Doom. I find the Doom Rollers really. Doom Rollers is the new one. I think he released it over like this past Sunday.
I have not seen this yet. I'm interested.
You have my curiosity here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so I'll start off slow here. So this one's just the left right. So you just do exclamation point L or exclamation point R, and you just shift to either side, and you want to be where the least amount of grubs are, and then the roller will come through at an undetermined time. So if Gaz made them deliberately very slow. So if you try to wait to see what everyone else does, then you slowly crawl over, and then you end up fucking it up. So
I'm interested. I've not seen this yet. Yeah, Gaz was just mentioning the plushie. Pride of place in front of the Funkos.
The music always pumps it up. I don't know if you can grub Splode on this. That would be funny if Gaz would introduce that. I think that would be a certain level
that needs to be in. I'm not playing it until there's explosions.
There's always one person that just wants to cause chaos. They don't even want to win.
Gaz, get it in.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, the trails are legit now, so the NFT integration's live.
This is intense.
So then the next one is it can go horizontal or vertical. So then you have 4 quadrants instead of 2. Wait, so you could
Yes, that's
intentionally
exactly what we
assassinate-
want. That's exactly what we want, guys.
Oof, oof. Sune. Oh my god. So I mean, I guess you could like deliberately like bait people over just to cause chaos.
This is it.
So what's next for Era 3? I mean, I'm jumping the gun here since you have Era 2 literally about to, but so in the grand scheme of progression, what would be the next group of new implementation?
Yeah, so the next game mode that comes out will be Battles, which will be basically 1v1 PvE and PvP, and then that will be essentially the game mode that will provide blueprints for building upgrades.
Okay.
Which is which is interesting. And that'll cost Zilver to play. So basically it'll be very strategy based, lots of moving parts in terms of mechanics, more than just damage. Now it'll be inclusive of how loud the weapon is. So you could have like an assassin with a sword, or you could have a shotgun which is short range and really loud, and then we'll also take into account range as well. So short range, medium range, long range, and then you need to choose your loadout for the best event, like eventuality, which will then give you better odds at getting blueprints for buildings. And then it's all about collating enough blueprints that when buildings come out and you're a building owner, or you're seeking refuge in a building, that you can start getting upgrades on your buildings before people start attacking you. So it's all feeding into this final like end game, late game, like masterclass of rivalries is ultimately where we're heading. Like you got to think like all good zombie series, all good apocalypse series is the danger initially is the virus and the zombies, but then eventually the danger becomes hungry people, right? Like the zombies become like a byproduct. Like you can deal with the zombies. They're either slow or their behavior, but hungry people are going to want to try and get into your supplies.
Yeah, it's more of the Mad Max era, the Mad Max chapter of how do I hoard my resources and protect myself against other survivors.
And essentially, every single asset minus buildings in ZOS is consumable, including survivors. Like by that point, there will be soft death and hard death. And hard death will be game over, that asset's dead. And then there'll be the soft death, which is what we're introducing in Era 2, which is essentially the survivor loses all of its health points but can be revived.
So how does the hard death work? Are you burning the asset, or is it? Oh, interesting. So that would be built into the smart contract that when you take custody of the assets, they would reach 0 health, and then you would only get X amount back, or if anything, I guess.
Yeah, so there'll be a couple of game modes where hard death will be active, but there'll be like high risk, high reward game modes, like significantly high reward game modes.
How does the hard death work? So is it kind of like Sammy's like death race with Nova Rally that you can risk more and then get higher risk, higher reward kind of thing?
No, so the risk is equally high for everybody. So essentially, the raid game mode, which will be you join the raid on your own. So Siege is a team PvP. Siege is building versus building PvP, but raid will be single player, mass multiplayer, battle royale on the blockchain.
Oh shit!
And the bottom 5% of survivors, the first 5% to die, dead, burnt at the stake.
Damn. Okay. Huh.
and then like so obviously there'll only be one winner. So like the bottom 5% are dead instantly, game over, like burn assets. Then the next 25% will be dead and their weapon got destroyed, and their shield got destroyed. And then the next section will be survivors dead, weapon destroyed, shield survived. And then eventually you get to the point where people didn't die but took significant damage. And then there's only one winner at the top, and that one winner at the top gets a building.
Yeah, that's funny too, because you've built all those survivors to have like unique assets. So everything is a unique subset. So you become a little bit at the whole point was you were trying to create people to be attached to their survivors, and now you're killing them. So I guess you just search for fodder on the aftermarket and then protect your like one,
what I wanted
primary
to
guy.
what I really want to get to is like people that are in Sammy Snakes, because so with the Chads, the 500 limited edition Chads that we did,
Those are pretty
like
funny.
some like they've got like homage to other communities in there, right? So I really want people that are in Sammy's community to like buy the Atomic Kings Chads and then send them into the raid, and they don't care if they die because it's the Atomic Kings one, and like minimize how many Atomic Kings assets are in the game, and like there's loads of warfare that can take place.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna start this one here. So this one will be the double quadrant here, so the vertical and horizontal. So instead of exclamation point L and R, it's exclamation A, B, C, or D, and then same concept as you try to stay where the least amount are.
Yeah, Toon 2K, that's a really good one actually.
Oh, it actually has like an Atomic King thing on it? Oh, interesting.
So we did some masks. So we did an ant mask for the colony, which is run by Bullshipples. We did a skull mask for the Atomic Kings.
Oh, nice, yeah.
We did some trousers that say good vibes on them for the good vibes mining community. We did a cap that says hydrate and then an electric symbol for obviously hydro-powered. There was quite a few Easter eggs. Almost every asset that we did had an Easter egg behind it. So yeah, there were some fun ones.
Oh, that's cool. All right, let's see here. Yeah, speaking of the creator code stuff, like I hate how our planet does it. I think it's just so absurd with their whole thing about creating a voting system on who shills their shit the most on like social
media. I don't even
know
how it works for them.
Oh my gosh, it's like they have like a whole point system of like if you tweet about it, then you get X amount of points. If you do like some sort of instructional video, you get X amount of points, and then like the people who monthly get the most, and they pledge 2.5 billion of the Ether token to their stake but they only do it for a month, and then they pull it out, and then they do it again. But it doesn't encourage any real engagement. It just totally rewards all the shillers.
Yeah,
and I'm not 100%. Saying anything about the people who have participated in it, but just the way they've designed the process, just it's not really encouraging good engagement. It's just encouraging people who can just scream the loudest, and then give them a very clear value and utility that they can then use as a pitching point for their community. I don't know. It just seems really poorly designed to me. But then again, like, what are you even showing off anymore? Like, if there was like an actual game, then like that's cool and all. But like, oh yeah, here's my instructional tutorial of how not to burn your Aether by claiming too infrequently.
Don't give Letos any rewards.
Oh yeah.
Don't give him any.
I'll just pass it forward to second place. I'll just do second place. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. All right. Let's see. All right, I'll do one more, and then I got to sign off here. All right, so one more exclamation point play. I'll do another uncommon shield. and then we'll call it a day. Well, I'm glad it worked out. I Lou told me noon, I guess noon our time, and then I think we did one with you last time we talked to you, so I think that was where the breakdown was. But I just
I'm blaming Lou because
he's not here.
he's not, one, he's not here, and two, yesterday I thought it was coming on stream yesterday. So then I messaged him at 8 minutes to 8 p.m. I said, "Is the call in 8 minutes or 1 hour and 8 minutes?" And he said, 1 day, 1 hour and 8 minutes, which takes us to 9 p.m. my time.
That is the worst way you could have communicated that. I mean, that he could have communicated that. Oh, man.
So that made it 9 p.m. my time. So, like, then I messaged you at like 10 to 9. He's like, "I've already been on air for like an hour." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, man. Yeah. You see, the daylight savings time, Gaz is right. Cause like we have the daylight savings, and I think they're actually getting rid of daylight savings nationally, but not until next year. But so then we have like Pacific Daylight and Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah, and
And we're always fashionably late anyway. So
yeah, we've got GMT and then we've got BST. So we've got like Greenwich Mean Time, which is the equivalent to UTC, and then we've got BST, which is an hour ahead of
yeah.
UTC. So 7 p.m. UTC would be 9 p.m. 8 p.m. here.
Yeah, and then you're in the UK, so when you're hitting me up, I was like still asleep. So you know,
Awesome.
it comes with the territory in a global space. Although I
Yeah.
do like the programming you can do in Discord now, where you can set the time and then it shows the time to the user in their own time zone.
Where's this?
Yeah, so it's just like I'll send it to you later, but like there's a
Yeah.
little like thing where you can basically, there's a website, it converts it to like a 8-digit code, and then it basically takes the time that you input, then you post it with like, you know, this special formatting in Discord, and then whoever sees it, it shows it based on their own time zone settings in Discord.
Yeah. Oh,
So
cool.
it makes everyone happy and everyone on the same page.
Awesome.
All right, well, I'll do one more call for exclamation point play. This is the last one. Then I'll find someone to raid here. It's like I don't really want to raid our planet. I kind of hate bonds, so I will raid into NFT Action News. You know, I have high hopes for our planet.
We build these dynamics with different people, and whether they be good or bad or indifferent. But it's amazing how like my experience of people can be so much different or exactly the same as your experiences with them. Like, and yeah,
The man is consistent. I'll give him that. Yeah, I mean, I have high hopes for our planet. I have a decent position in our planet, so I have a vested interest. I just of all the things, I just him as a community manager is like, it's like dealing with the male Karen equivalent of the NFT space. He just wants to yell at people, and I can't handle it.
I don't get it.
Well, we'll see. I would love a game to play. I'll tell you that. Yeah, see here's the one. So it's like you do the T, and then there's like a website that will give you like the this phrase for it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't even know what he streams anymore. One time I was like, okay, well, maybe they're showing some gameplay footage, and I just caught it. I jumped in, and it was just Bonds playing Dave Matthews music videos. So it's like, what is going on? Like, this is like one of the biggest games on Wax, and their community manager is just talking about Dave Matthews. It's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, like that's about as much structure as Sammy's streams have got, but Sammy, it's his stream. Like, it's
yeah, and he goes for a long time. Like I mean, we've been going on 2 hours. Like Sammy will go for like 4 or 5, and I just go brain dead after a while. I mean, and particularly doing it by yourself is really hard.
Yeah.
It helps when there's like, you know, Lou, Max, and I all here.
You can bounce off of each other,
and we can all kind of like fill the space. If you're by yourself, man, it's a lot. And you know, sometimes he has 100 people watching him in his bedroom just go for 5 hours straight. I I don't have the mental capacity for that. When we're done streaming, I usually just don't speak for like a few hours, just like
So we're not gonna get
decompressing.
we're not gonna get a Neon Space 24-hour live stream.
Oh gosh, I mean, maybe one day we can do a marathon.
Solo Mark on his own.
Oh my god, you know, by hour 4, you're gonna get some real weird stuff. Oh man. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and start here. So same concept with the A, B, C, and D.
Guys, if you're still here, we definitely need to include explosions in this game mode.
It's cool to see all the trails though. What is it purple that's the higher rarity one?
Yeah, I think there's red as well. Red's quite high, isn't it? It's legendary, I think.
Oh, interesting.
I think we need like all of the old commands from the normal game mode in here. Like, could you imagine doing like dodge and spin and reset?
Yeah, I would think so too. Yeah, or if you do like the God, what's the one where you just kind of bounce and sprint around? That's a dangerous game.
Yeah, guys,
Yeah.
we need like a apocalypse mode where we can just do everything.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll do a marathon pizza stream. I'll just
Yeah, I mean, I'm really interested in this. We're gonna have to catch up on this because you're opening a pizza shop, man.
Yeah, I am.
That's cool. That's so cool. What's it
Know,
called?
if you ever come to the States, I'll cook you some pizza.
Yeah, I'm down. What's it going to be called? Have you got a name for it?
Yeah, it's gonna be King Pizza. I'll show you the logo here if I can.
King Pizza. Cool. Let's go.
See if I can find it. But yeah, you know, Paul's our friend, but also our main 2D artist. So I asked him, I was like, "Hey man, could you like make a logo for us?" And so he's like, "Oh yeah, fuck it, sure." So he just cranked one out in the typical Neon Space fashion, but.
Game over for Gaz.
Oh, whoops! Wait, there it is.
Hey, we got.
Whoops. Oh man. Yeah, so you know, we have our original like Max got a neon sign like commissioned by his family for Christmas of like the Neon Space logo. So I'm gonna try and do like we have our Cut My Life into Pizza from our first sale, and I'll do like a physical neon sign of that. Hopefully, on the inside, it'd be kind of cool.
That's so good. Are you gonna have it as like a dine-in or takeout?
Yeah, it'll be like a full-in restaurant. It'll be kind of more like takeout focus, but we'll have a full bar and places to sit and hang out, the whole nine. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, so I mean, I've worked in restaurants for a long time. Haven't really done my own, so we're certainly getting a crash course in all the kind of like bureaucracy of getting permits and liquor licenses and health permits. So that stuff is very new to me. Cooking and making drinks I could do that all day. So
yeah, but actually running the behind the scenes and the business is totally new.
All right, so this is what Paul designed. We can't do like a big one outside, but I can do this like inside as like kind of a in the window kind of thing.
Oh, that's gonna look so good.
So you know, you got like the pizza paddles, like the Suicide King style, and then there's like there's like if I can zoom in, but there's like pizza rollers, like the cutters on the shoulders, and then like rolling pins on the chest,
and like the actual typography as well. It's got like drips.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then this sash just means what's in the sauce, which is kind of funny too. So yeah, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my god, what does that mean?" It's in Latin. It must be fancy, but in reality, it really means nothing. And then this will be it's backwards, but like this will be kind of like a stationary kind of style print that we'll do. So we can put that on the menus like a true playing card style and things. So
oh, so good.
So this is the coalescing of Neon Space and my restaurant endeavors. So, well, thank you, Diege. Do you have any last thoughts here before I run off?
No, just look out for Sunday, the announcement for the actual day that we're going to be dropping. And yeah, align yourself to a content creator for when you're purchasing things in the store, because every time you don't put that code in, you're going to be someone's going to be losing out on 3%. And just give it to your favorite content creator or give it to your favorite community that are going to potentially hand it back to the community in different rewards. Era 2 is really exciting. We've got a lot coming. Initially on the launch day, but then also the next couple of weeks afterwards, and then it'll be pedal to the metal. Let's get the next game mode out straight as soon as we can, straight after. So we're going to be. We keep thinking we're coming out of a busy period, and then we're actually not, because we're entering more of a busy period, because then there's the next commitment and there's the next deadline to hit. So
yeah, you're on era 2 of era 6. There's a long way.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So yeah, just keep an eye out. Come and hang out in the Discord. There's some real good people in there that are quite passionate about the game and Wax as a whole as well. So, and I'm always in there, and Letos is always in there. So if you've got any questions, just drop us a message on there, and we'll get back to you. But yeah, thanks for having me anyway, Mark. It's been fun. It's actually nice to come and speak about things out loud rather than just typing stuff. So
well, I don't normally roll solo, so it was definitely a learning experience for me too. So I think I pulled it off though. Well, thank you to everyone. Thank you to Diege, and I'll raid into NFT action news. I guess I have to restart this raid. So give me 10 seconds, but otherwise, good luck, Godspeed, good RNG. And I think we're done.
Awesome.
Although sometimes I screw this up, and then I think I rated.
It still says live. Hello, everybody.
No, you're good. You're good. We're hosting. So. Although, like we.